everyone. I hope traders and investors alike were green today. Well, interesting market this week. So we're seeing some pullbacks coming into this week. And on the thumbnail, we talked about September going into August and September. So we were expecting a push up into the beginning of August. As we're moving into August, we can definitely see a pullback. If you went back about 10 years or so, seasonality, August was actually bearish. The last few years, August has actually closed higher on the month. So it's kind of killing that previous bearish spirit for this particular month. This is still going to be one of the hardest months to trade, and the reason why I still think we could see a pullback for this August. And when I say a pullback, I'm not talking an all new low, but 3, 5, maybe even 6%. It's just a healthy pullback, and you can see we're working on a nice candle here to the downside on SPX weekly chart so far. So we got a bearish engulfing on the weekly. One thing, the market's holding in great here. Earnings are actually better than expected for most of the companies. So markets are still looking good. I'm still think that we can finish, continue higher in the markets. I don't think that, we're going to pull back and put in an all new low or anything like that. But it doesn't mean it's going to be the easiest thing to trade either. And I'm not saying that the pullbacks will be easy because there's still a lot of dip buyers out there who are still trying to buy these dips. So let's get going through the charts, and we'll talk about the earnings as we go through them. As we can see, the bearishness there on the SPX weekly chart. If we go to our breadth chart, we see breadth was lower today. The dollar's got to clear that 50 VIX. Nice gap up there today. Nice push. Crude. This bearish engulfing back to the 9. Apple, we finally lost a daily 9 here. This has been a very consistent trade off of this 9, finally breaking down. Maybe when we lost it here on the 20 may have been a sign that things were changing because it was the first time back to the 20 since before June. So we did close at the 20 today. That's the place to watch Apple on. Could definitely see some downside on this. We closed below a few of those candles. Getting below that 20, we could see a move lower. Doesn't mean you want to see an all new low. You can see intraday here, almost a big H cell pattern on the intraday chart, 15-minute chart. Gold down day to day. So our advanced decline lines, we have lost our 9. On the New York Stock Exchange itself, on the S&P 500, you can see here on the mid caps, sitting right on the 9. Small caps still the strongest here with the advanced decline lines. AMC still chopping around. AMD, big move lower here today. They had earnings the earnings look good on this initial move, but their guidance was awful soft on that phone. And AMD, if I can remember correctly, AMD is traditionally one to sell off on earnings, even when they have a good report. Amazon will be going into earnings tomorrow. The IB has been higher here. So we got our daily 50 there. We're coming down, testing that. ARC trying to move lower. Ugly bearish engulfing candle. AMD, this one's really worrying me here. We're watching this level here. Looks like we closed below all that. I don't know. This just looks like it wants to move lower. Chart really does say, oh, this is just a lower high moving on volume. Just seems like the bulls are just starting to accept a price and that the chart needs to move lower. So we could see a pullback into some previous support here. I should have a line drawn here. That would be our first major support right there where we have a heavy volume profile bar. Definitely seen some volume there today. And they could come right back in and buy it back up tomorrow. So that's the biggest thing now. But you can see AMD here on the weekly. We've lost that weekly 9, trying to hold that weekly 20 for support. Amazon intraday chart took a nice dip today and then with a decent recovery. Amazon on the weekly, we have lost that weekly 9 so far. That candle's not closed yet. Apple on the weekly trying to move lower. Watch that weekly 9 for support there. Boeing, ugly candle coming back into the Bollinger Bands. Watch that off that daily 9. See if we get a bounce. It may pull back to that daily 9 and bounce. BTU, coal stock, just not doing much. Beyond Meat, this one's just not panning out either. closed back below the 9 and the 20 today. You can actually draw this out. You got a little symmetrical triangle there, and this does look like it wants to try to break to that downside. You can draw your trend line right through there and see how you look if you're interested in trading that. Bitcoin just looks weak, holding your weekly moving averages. The daily looks bad, back below that 50 after the push yesterday. XLC back to that 9, daily 9. You got XLP rolling over. Today was a strong candle trying to push back up, but could not clear that daily 9 there. Cost trying to move lower. I'd really want that below, because you can see we dip below the daily 20 there and then push back up. I like that better below that daily 20. That MACD is trying to roll over there. So maybe some weaknesses coming into consumer staples. DraftKings trying to move lower. A Datadog breaking to the downside below that 20. Lily in between, he's got to break out those moving averages. Either way, I'm just not interested into that as long as it's trading in between the moving averages like that. Ford, we got this head and shoulders pattern. Got this push up, and this is exactly what we know how to. We've traded a lot of head and shoulders, and we know exactly how they trade. They always try to push up with these harsh move higher, and then they try to break lower. So below this candle body right here, I'm bearish on Ford for a move lower. Google back to that daily 9, watch it off the daily 9. Home Depot weekly chart, we kind of knew, we talked about that, pushing up into a previous level of resistance, a little extended there on the weekly, so not surprised if it doesn't pull back. More surprised if it didn't pull back. IWM intraday pretty choppy there today, held in overall. Qs closed back below the 20 on the daily, not a good look. You can see the Qs intraday looks like a big H cell pattern. QQQ weekly, watch your weekly 9. It's coming into it at 370.25 level. JP Morgan breaking down below the 9. Mara still struggling here at this downtrend. You can see this candle tried to push up into it, so that changed the downtrend. Just a bad breakout there. So you want to move your trend line, follow that candle down. You'll get some of that wick. So you still have 3 touch points. That downtrend needs to be broke to go long. Merck. You can see Merck is trying to hold this previous level of support. So we're trying to break out of this upper sloping head and shoulders pattern, come down, found support, and just wants to break. So below that support, we're looking for a move lower. Merck can be a safety play, so we've got to be a little careful with that name. But right now, that chart looks like it wants to move lower. Meta still holding that 9 and 20, and it's still a great looking chart. Meta intraday. You can see the pullback right here at the end of the day. It tried to pop off the lows and then snatch back right there at the end of the day. MU, this one got fill. If we can reclaim that 9, look for a move higher. I'm not really interested into it until it gets down in this range if it wants to move lower. The MACD is definitely changing character there. Microsoft's trying to move lower here as well. Microsoft intraday, another very H-cell patternish looking chart there. Microsoft has lost the weekly 9. Watch your weekly 20 for support. Nvidia, so we broke out of this channel today. So we've been watching this channel, been able to get setups within that channel as we're bouncing from one side to the other. But now we have broke it, so now we can start to look for a move lower. This MACD is crossing, rolling over again. So that chart looks bearish. Watch your daily 50 if it does pull back. You can see Nvidia here was a little stronger at the end of the day. Really didn't give us the H cell pattern look, but almost looked like it wanted to come in for it. Nvidia weekly, still holding your weekly 9. Chart starting to round there. NASDAQ, we lost below the 9 and 20 on the daily chart on the NASDAQ. We could definitely come down and test this 50. Netflix trying to test this 9 here. It's just trading in between those daily moving averages, so I'm just not interested into it there. Other Qs, these next, so this is the Qs monthly chart. So these next 2 months, we could pull back and put in like a small handle-ish type move here. We've had this huge move up, and that could definitely, it's something we talked about coming into, or talked about last month. It's something that we could definitely do here. Ribbon trying to break to the downside right in between that 9 and 20. I wanted to get out of that area. Roku, nice down candle here today. Probably going to see some downward action on this play in search of that daily 9, this could see, I mean, look where we closed here. All right, you can see this candle pulled right back down. I need to be below this candle to go short. Whatever kind of gap's still here, I want to be below that candle to go short. So if we get below that candle, look for a move down to that 9. SPX right at that daily 20. SLB, still a nice looking chart, but if it's going to push, it's got to do it soon. SoFi right down to that daily 9. Looks like that gap got filled today. I count wicks as gaps. Some people count candles bodies, but if you got a wick there on your daily chart, that means somewhere on your intraday chart, even if you have to go down to the 1 minute time frame, you're going to find price action was in that area. So as long as price action was in that area, and I don't care on the time frame, obviously your lower time frames, you can see it, gap filled. Diamond, and we've seen that. I've been able to prove that in a lot of live trading sessions of why we do that. The diamond here, candle closed below these, so maybe we can see a little bit of down move. If we do see a move down, watch for your daily 20s, your first level. But that candle closed below that candle body. Need to draw that line. I like to get it below the actual wick. The weekly, we could definitely see a bullish rally there. Could definitely see a pull. You can see SPY weekly pulling back in search of that 9. Same thing with the SPY monthly. We could see a little, and I don't mean all new low type handle, but we could see a small pullback just to put in a small handle there for these next 2 months. SPY, the daily 20 is acting as a support level. We hit that today and was trying to push back up above it. You see moving down there on SPY intraday chart. Square closed below. Nice pull there today. It's kind of, even though we were able to push up, but that higher high end, it's not really double top, breaking below this level here, and especially below that 20. Got to look at that chart with a bearish mindset. That MACD's crossing, see where we go tomorrow. Shop pulled back today. Shop had earnings tonight. Tesla intraday 15-minute chart, nice push at the end of the day, but we did pull back there nicely today. We're been expecting some downside coming in on Tesla. XLK moving lower, and you can see Tesla here. We are below this weekly 9. Right now we're below last week's candle. Tesla daily, just see how it just wants to roll over here. This is almost like a diamond pattern right here. Very close. It's not perfect, but if you were to draw a line, you can see the angle on the top. It doesn't really pan out well on the bottom, but you can see it. Most diamonds break lower. I'm just expecting a move down there. Uber, nice bounce off this 20 today. It's a very nice push today. Walmart did gap down. You can see we were able to push up. We did get slammed back down below that daily 9. Decent candle there today. See where that closes. Kind of looks like a contraction pattern, and that may be the start of an expansion phase. So let's keep an eye on that one. XLF, this is the banking sector. Trying to roll over here. We're holding your weekly, or holding your daily 20 right now. You can kind of see it rounding. Looks like a rounding top forming. There's move below that 20, we're bearish. TLT, so big gap down. You can see recovery there, possible reversal. IWM weekly right into that previous level of resistance that we were watching for. You can see the daily chart breaking back down below the 9. And if we take a look at our put to call ratio, 84, that's not updated yet. So the NASDAQ, the oscillators on the NASDAQ did pull back to 79. And if you look at the oscillators on the New York Stock Exchange, we pulled back to 84. So just kind of matching up with the bearish move that we've seen today. I hope you find this helpful, and I'll see you in the trading room.